Okay, this is part 3 to learning objective 1. So this is looking at the popularity of sports in the UK, and that is about the mass participation, why they participate, why the popularity of sport can rise, why it can fall, so the different reasons why, and also up and coming sports that are on the rise for different reasons. So it's all about the popularity of sports in the UK. Learning objective 1 still. So the first one we're looking at here is provision. Okay, provision. Provision means what is available or readily available, what's been made available for someone. Okay, for example here, it says here that in the UK, okay, there are currently 10 ski centres, and most of them obviously dry slopes, with the exception of a couple in Scotland, and we currently have roughly around about 115 professional football stadiums. So a vast difference, and that's just professional football. If you put in some lower leagues as well, you're probably looking at about 1,000 or more stadiums. So it's about provision. So what is available? So clearly there's not a lot of provision for skiing because it's expensive. It obviously needs snow or you need artificial slopes, whereas something like football is very readily available. So football has good provision. Okay, because you look at the local parks, there's football goals there, and you look in Poole, in Bournemouth, in Dorset, there's probably 300 or 400 football pitches, including AstroTurf pitches, 3G, Sand Astro. Whereas poor provision or lack of provision for skiing, because it's not readily available. So we're quite fortunate where we live, there is all fairly local, but again you have to pay for it. And it's not cheap for an hour, you're talking £10, £20. Whereas the football pitches locally are pretty much free. So lack of provision means the popularity of sport decrease. Good provision, so lots of provision available, means the popularity of football or other sports, for example netball, hockey, rugby, provision and popularity will increase. So the popularity is high because there's a lot of provision. Number 2, so again it's about popularity, reasons why some sports in the UK, remember we're focusing solely on the UK, because our environment or climate doesn't allow us to do certain sports. Okay, for example, in our climate we get a lot of rain, we get a lot of overcast weather, we do get sunshine, spring, summer months. Our climate is fairly mild, so fairly warm, so it lends itself to sports that can cope with those weather conditions, such as football, netball, rugby, indoor sports like tennis. Whereas our climate, so that is sort of the good side to the climate. The negative impact of our climate is we don't get a lot of snow, we don't have a lot of mountains. Remember, environment's not just weather, it's about the conditions we have. We have a lot of hills, we don't have proper mountains, bar in Scotland and some in Wales, and our climate is we don't have a lot of snow, hence why mostly the skiing, ice skating is not very popular. So it's all about popularity. So good environment for the likes of hockey, netball, rugby, football. Negative climate, lack of snow means lack of skiing, ice skating, mountain climbing, rock climbing. So it can have this positives and negatives, and it's about the popularity. So remember, it's all about the rise and fall of popularity of certain sports. Success, football in our country, rugby in our country, netball in our country, we're very successful at. We're always roughly in the top 10 of the world rankings. Rugby, I think at the moment we vary between 2nd and 5th. Football, we're usually roughly in the top 10. Netball, we're in the top 3 or 4. Whereas you look in the Winter Olympics table, we're right down the bottom. So we don't have much success, and that could be linked to the other areas that we just looked at. So the lack of the poor environment and climate, the lack of provision. Okay, so they all have factors, but good success will rise the popularity of a sport. Football's very successful, so lots of people do it. We're not that successful at winter sports, so popularity is low. Remember, it's all about the popularity. And that goes along with spectatorship. So spectatorship means how many people watch that sport on a regular basis. So on a regular basis, thousands of people watching football, thousands of people watching rugby, and they support the team on a weekly basis. So that increases the popularity because more people want to watch it, they'll go with friends and family to watch it. Whereas poorly spectated sports, such as skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, because there's lack of spectators watching, popularity of the sport decreases. So that's spectatorship. Role models, the more positive role models, should we put that side plus this side, positive role models in sport, the more people are likely to take it up, and that can be male or female sports. Football in the UK and rugby is very highly populated for female professionals and female athletes, whereas negative role models, or lack of role models, should I say, so you don't, if I asked you to ask 10 skiers, you wouldn't know 10 people that are professional skiers, but you probably would know 10 people that are professional footballers. So it's about role models, positive role models, and lots of positive role models in various sports versus not many role models. So that will affect the popularity. And media coverage, obviously football highly covered in the media, rugby highly covered in the media, tennis when it's seasonal, so Wimbledon when it's on, covered a lot by the media, whereas seasonal sports, I know I keep mentioning it, like skiing, snowboarding, it comes around every now and then, but it's not, media don't cover it that much. If you look on the local paper, at the back of the paper will always be football, rugby, tennis, golf, because that's what our media follow a lot. You look in the paper or TV, there's not much on skiing, so the media coverage tend to stick to the sports that have high popularity, because that's a financial gain for them.